everyone. Welcome to Stellaris. I am ShadeOfDead, and this is going to be like episode 0, us starting and creating our race and stuff. And I guess this game is a 4X strategy game, similar to, say, Civilization. I guess that's probably the most well-known common 4X type game. I can't even remember what all the X's are. Explore, expand. I don't remember what they are. But it's kind of like Civilization. Now, and I know Civilization 6 just came out, and I've looked at it, and I've found it somewhat wanting when it comes to the AI and stuff right now. And it's unfortunate because the rest of the game is really good, but the AI is terrible. This game doesn't have great AI. Most of these games don't have incredibly great AI, but this game really, I really like it better. I really enjoy it a lot more. There's more interesting things that can happen in it. I mean, Civilization, the problem is, for me personally, is it's number 6. And I started with Civilization 2. So I've done this 4 times already. Many times. I mean, I have sunk hours after hours into Civilization games. But it's not... It doesn't grab me like it used to. Like, it doesn't grab me like it once did. So, Paradox made this game. It feels very Civ-like. There's, I feel like, more interesting things that happen because it's space and like anything could happen. The music in this game is great, just like Civ. I really like this game better. Sorry, but I do. And so I've been playing it off and on. I've made several species, and I've tried different things, and I've picked out a few mods that I want to play with. And I mean, just listen to the music. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but oh, that's such good music. Like, this is music I could just relax to in a hot tub. I could sleep to. This is great music. But anyway, so I picked out a few mods because there's a lot of mods for this. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of mods for this. And this is updated to the newest patch, 1.3 Heinlein. And there's an expansion, Leviathans, that's come out for it. So, the mods, and they're listed down below, but I'm going to mention them real quick. Cleaner sectors, which just makes things look, it just makes things look better when you're doing your sectors, I guess. Color-coded pop status icons. Colorblind. Now, the color-coded status icons are like, is this, and pop means population. So, like on your planets, you know, this particular group of population, what do they have to do? Are they unemployed? Are they angry? Are they enslaved? Are they, you know, what is it? So, and I chose a colorblind one because I like to pick the colorblind ones for my YouTube stuff, because some people are colorblind, and it doesn't make a difference to me. I can tell the difference regardless of what colors they are, because I'm not colorblind, but some people are, and so just for that reason alone, you know, for that part of the population, just to make things easier for them to see. Downscaled ships, because the ships in the game by default are really big, like they're the size of planets and stuff, so that you can see them really well. But it really detracts for me. The game, I don't like it. I want them to look a little more realistic compared to the size of my planet. You know, I don't want a ship that's larger than the planet that I live on. So extra events. Now we're gonna see how this works. I may have to pull this one out later. I don't know. I don't know how balanced extra events is, but it adds new occurrences because there are a lot of things that tend to repeat. You'll see some of the same research events that can happen when we're surveying planets over and over and over again. Extra events adds a little variety to things that can happen, and I am very happy to have that, honestly, because after a while I just stop reading what the events are. I'm like, yeah, whatever, because I know it's something I've seen before, and I have a really good idea what's going to happen when I do interact with that event in any way. So I included flags, emblems, and backgrounds. I don't even know if I'll use one of them, but it just gives you more choices for like your species flag. Happiness bar is just a UI thing, so it puts a bar on your different your populations, showing how happy each individual one is. Larger sector name, again, just a UI thing. Plentiful, bigger research window, again, UI. Reduce aura graphics, just a personal taste thing. Everything's really glowy normally, but reduce aura graphics kind of tones that down a bit. UI Overhaul 1080p. Improved space battles graphics, which changes like the graphics for your space battles, makes them look a lot better on like on some of the slower speeds and things. It's I like it. And then there's improved space battles balance. Now this one I haven't really dug into. It does a few things that you should be aware of if you play this game. The first thing is the numbers for your fleet strength, they're all cut in half. So if you have a fleet strength that's normally 100, it will appear as 50. Now this doesn't change the power of the fleet, it's just as strong as it was, just that number is less. And that avoids some issues with the AI where the number gets so large that it messes up the AI, like it can't handle it sometimes. So I've got that one. It also changes some of the medium to late game stuff to make it more of a challenge as we go through, because you'll often reach a point where you're like, well, do I even continue, because I'm obviously the most powerful thing in this galaxy. It's a foregone conclusion that I'm going to win. This may change that so that that's not the case, and I may die anyway. Even if I didn't have this here, I may lose. But there's a lot of things that can happen depending on your start and everything else that can really change how this game plays out. But so improved space battles balance, I have that in there, and the graphics one. And then I also have ISBS living systems, and I haven't used this one yet either, and it's more of a graphical thing too, but it makes your systems look more alive, with like civilian ships flying around doing things, instead of it just being the planets, whatever fleets that the government builds that I build, and that's it. Like there is no private trade and stuff, and I'm really excited to see this because there's also ads and things like that. I'm really excited. So yeah, so there's that. And now we're gonna start. Like I said, this episode is gonna be just us making a species. You can see I made some butterflies, some peaceful butterflies, and I made some space elves, and I don't know, the geckos are really cute. And I've done some other things too, a lot of science ones. I like the science, But I wanted to look at like what I feel like humanity would be in this universe, like where we are now, the mistakes we've made, the ones I feel that we may make in the future. And I feel like, I personally feel, I can completely see, now I don't know if this is going to happen, I'm not saying it will happen or it should happen or anything like that. I'm just saying, in my personal fiction that I made up in my mind while thinking about this, Commonwealth of Man is close. Xenophobe, fanatic militarist, military dictatorship. That's how Earth ends up before we go to the stars. When Earth becomes all one government, that's how it ends up. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I'm going to use this one as my template to decide what I'm going to do. You know, I do see us being militaristic as a human race, but I'm going to edit it. Appearance, and this is cool. I mean, you can be planetoids, you can be fungoids, you can be molluscoids, you can be a snail man, you can be snails, you can be arthropoids, you can be butterflies, you can be a little butterfly, yeah. These are just, so basically plants, fungus, mollusks, insects, birds. We can be birds. We can be a one-eyed bird. We can be a penguin. We can be a space parrot with a helmet, which is pretty funny. He's like the only one that has a helmet. Like nobody else has a helmet. Just this one character has helmets. Reptilian, you can be the geckos. Yeah. There's some scary ones in here. Murlocs. I'm sorry, that's a murloc. And mammalian. This is all the like anthropomorphic animals. Like here's foxes, there's duckbill platypuses, I guess, and then there's some very fanciful. They're flying monkeys. You know, flying cats. You know, all sorts of things here. You got sloths. That's great. And then humanoid, which is, you know, more Star Trek-y type aliens. I consider it. Almost everything in Star Trek is humanoid, as it were. Whereas most of the rest of these feel more Star Wars-y, if that makes sense. But we're going to be humans. I thought about, you know, like, this is obviously a Klingon. You know, you can see some space elves, but yeah, we're gonna be human. Oh, she changed, or did she? I don't know. I can't tell. But we're gonna be that. Species name: humans. No problem. And this is where you put your name, the plural, and the adjective. Human starship. You know, so that's the adjective part. Name lists. I'm probably just going to go with what they have already here. This is going to be fine. But basically, these give you different collections of names that you're going to see. These are the leader names, these are the ship names, these are the planet names, these are the fleet names, all that good stuff. Traits. Now, this made me stop because I looked at this before I started and I went, what? Because I don't know if it must be the balance mod. The improved space battles, whatever it's called, balance mod. She looks very untrusting. Normally you get 2 free points that you can get bonuses with, and that's what these are. These green ones are bonuses. The red ones are disadvantages. So advantages and disadvantages. And then you would have 3 trait picks left. It's increased by 1 point in both categories. So, this has made me very much have to take a step back and think what I want to do. And I'm still not sure. But what I'm thinking is that once upon a time, I feel like humanity was driven forward by science. There was, and this is from an American perspective, but there was a point, at least in American history and kind of in world history more than once, where science pushed the world forward. You know, there was the Renaissance being one of the big ones, the space race time and all that stuff, where science was a big deal. And I feel like for us to ever actually reach space, science is going to have to become a big focus of our species. So I want to take intelligent, and then I was looking at all the rest of these, and I'm not sure. Are we stronger than other aliens? And I'm gonna have to go with some sci-fi here. No, we're not. Typically, we're the squishy ones that hide inside a big metal can, and you know, wear armor and something just to survive. Whereas other alien species are like, you know, we're really tough, and your bullets do hardly anything to us. Like, I mean, other than like gray men and stuff. But I don't feel like the strong, very strong, or even the weak really applies to us. I think we're average when it comes to this. I guess we'll start at the top. Agrarian, you grow more food. Thrifty, you get more energy credits. Energy is like money. It's like dollar bills, as it were. That's the way to look at it. There's basically two main resources. So there's energy, and then there's minerals. So this is money. Energy is money. Minerals is material to build with. You know, you build things out of minerals, whatever that is, and you maintain things with minerals. But this is just the cash, and this is the iron, if that makes sense. So thrifty, looking at a lot of the larger modern day governments, like they're while individuals I think are becoming more thrifty as time goes by, the governments aren't. The governments are terrible. They're just falling apart as far as debt and everything else. Their income, I mean, look at the EU and some of the countries over there. Look at Italy. Look at Britain, England, English Empire, whatever you want to call it at this point. Like, there's a lot of things just, and those kind of things keep happening over and over again. So I don't feel like thrifty is something that humans would have. Industrious is mining things out. I'm leaning towards that. I'm going to add it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. This is the science one that I definitely want. This is the mineral one. And this is quick learner. Your leaders gain experience. You're going to have some leaders, and they level up as time goes by. They're like, you know, your governors, your head scientists, things like that. I'm thinking I want to keep that, but I may not. After that, we have like the science ones, you know, specifically engineering, physics, or society. These are your three sciences, and we could be like, we're really good at this or that or this or that, and I think I'm going to leave that alone. If I take intelligent, I'm not going to take these. I'm not going to take those if I take intelligent. Extremely adaptive, non-adaptive. Now, this is how easy it is for you to settle on another planet. Now, extremely adaptive is a 4. I would have to get rid of like both of these to even get to where I am right now. And I'm probably not going to keep all of this, so just keep that in mind. I'm just adding to what I'm trying to decide, because I haven't been able to decide 100%. I'm going to have to do that here. Extremely adaptive is plus 20% habitability. Now, when you start out, you choose a planet planet type. There's continental world. I think this will save if I come off this. I hope it does, because I don't want to put this all back. Let's see. Is this it? No. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. Here's all the different kinds of planets. So we have wet, dry, and frozen. So we have desert, arid, savanna, ocean, continental, and tropical. And then we have the frozen Arctic, alpine, and tundra. Now, that being said, we're going to be from Earth, which is a continental world. And what this means is that any planets we find that are the same. Alright, so any planets we find that are continental, it's 80% habitability for us. It's close to Earth, but it's only 80% close. So it's not as habitable as our own planet that we came from. It's going to be slightly different. There'll be, the way I look at it is there's different plant life that maybe doesn't really agree with us. The soil's a little different. There's viruses, bacteria, and stuff that we have to fight off. It's going to be different. Now, if you take that one trait that gives you plus 20, it makes these 100%. Everyone we land on is like, yeah, we can totally live here. This, yeah, I guess it's different. It doesn't feel different. You know, that kind of thing. Then it expands out. Wet, you stay in this column. And then, so the ocean worlds and the tropical worlds normally are at 60%. Yes, 60%. So, these are going to be 60% habitable. And I think I'm doing this right. I think this is right. But this will be 60% habitable. So it's like half, little over half. We can live there. We're not going to grow populations very fast. We're going to have a difficult time. It's not going to be as good. People are going to be more unhappy because they're like, dude, I can't even breathe. It smells like farts, you know, or something. It's going to be completely different. There's not enough room to live, or it's way too hot, you know, whatever it is. People are going to be less happy, and it's more difficult for us to live there. Then if we go off into these other two columns, it drops to, what is it, 20%, I think? So these are become even more difficult for us to live in. I think it's 20 or 40%, I can't remember. It's even more difficult for you to live on the planets in the other two columns. Now we can fix that later on with technology and things like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to go back to traits. But that's what adaptive and non-adaptive is. Rapid breeders, growth time increased by 10%, decreased by 15%. Now these are just on how fast your populations grow on planets. I'll fix that later. I don't want Alpine World. I don't know how fast it is that you can grow your populations. I think we're in the middle. We're not having like clutches of eggs. This is how I see this, you know, like insects. Like they have a clutch of eggs, they birth 50, you know, or 20 or whatever children at a time. No. Slow breeders, I don't feel like we're slow breeders. I feel humans would be average. Talented, leader skill levels +1. I mean, this is a possibility, but I'm just veering away from it. I've already gone over the strong stuff. Nomadic or sedentary? Now, nomadic means that your people want to migrate to other planets, and they do it 50% faster. And if I say, hey, you guys, pack up your bags, you're moving to another planet, it costs me 33% less resources to do it. Sedentary is the opposite. They migrate slower, -50%, and they resettle +33%. Now, I feel like if anything, this might be one of our negatives, because humans are not real big on packing up all their stuff and moving. Like, especially entire communities or countries or, you know, whatever it is, like 1 million people being forced to pack up their bags and go somewhere else. It can kind of go both ways. Sometimes you get some excitement and people really want to go, but I think overall people are going to be like, now, what do you mean I have to pack my bags and leave? I'm pretty comfortable here. I've got my nice house, my picket fence. I don't want to go anywhere. But so I'm leaning towards sedentary. And then there's, and you see when I chose this, nomadic goes away. You can't choose the opposites. Communal and solitary. Now, communal means people like being Together, we're quite happy to be living close to each other. Plus 5% happiness. And solitary. We don't like to be in big crowded conditions. It makes us unhappy. I think humans are maybe in the middle here. Maybe leaning more towards this sometimes. I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimist. I don't know. Charismatic. Other species are happy around us. Repugnant. Other species are not happy around us. They find us disgusting. I'm not sure about those. Conformists are ethic divergence. So we're going to choose some ethics on what our government is built on. And when we start, that's what everybody will have. That's kind of, humanity is united under this thing. As time passes, some of our populations are going to diverge slightly. You know, they're going to gain different traits, like maybe they suddenly become spiritualists, or they become xenophobes and they hate aliens. They're like, oh my god, get all these aliens, not on my backyard, you know, that kind of thing. Deviance means that they diverge even more. So it's kind of like, I kind of want to stay in the middle, I think, on this. This sort of makes sense to me. At least these two. Venerable and enduring. Like, venerable means plus 90 years for your leader lifespan. Enduring is plus 30 years. Fleeting means minus 15. Now, human beings, we have been increasing our lifespan a lot. I mean, what, 300 years ago, like, an old man was 35. That was an elder. That was an old person. That was the oldest person you ever met, type deal. As a child, like, that's, I'm gonna leave those alone. Decadent means you have to have slaves. Resource output without slaves is minus 10%. I don't like that. And resilient is garrison. This helps you defend your planets. Well, that does appeal to me. I've already got too much going on over here, so I need to get rid of something. And I think if I have to get rid of something, this would just be easy. Get rid of quick learners. While I want that, I kind of want it for gameplay reasons, not for humanity reasons. So I'm going to take... Oh my god, I got rid of too many. I clicked the other one too. What was it? Industrious and intelligent. There we go. And now we're down to 0, so we can continue on. I could mess around with this some more, take some negatives, take some positives. We have 3 more slots to play with, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. Industrious, intelligent, but don't pack me up and move me, you know. We don't like that. So we're going to do that. Next, ruler. Yes, yes, yes. Sydney, this is fine. Grand Marshal, that works. You know, I could dress her up, but it doesn't really matter because eventually you'll get a new ruler and you don't get to dress them up. But you can choose the clothes that they wear. And you can be like, you know, military. You can be like, I don't know what that is. Priest, maybe? I'm super rich. I don't know what that is. Very down to earth type thing. I don't know. You know, that's good. I like that. That looks like severe politician. That looks like a politician's outfit. This is kind of like softer military. Hard military, soft military. I think we're going to go with soft military. We want that. We want a continental. We can choose what system we start in. I'd like to start in Sol. We're going to call this Sol. And we're going to call this Terra. There we go. We're going to put it back kind of at the defaults. We're going to start on Earth in our solar system. So that'll be cool. City appearance, we can choose what we want, and it's just really for this. You don't ever really see the cities otherwise, just in this window. So what do we want it to look like? Oh, and there's arthropoid, avian, kind of open, molluscoid, kind of looks like shells and stuff. Fungoids look like mushrooms. Reptilian, very big blocky structures. Mammalian, that would be normal human cities. And then plantoid, which are like, you know, everything's made out of plants. We'll just go with the mammalian. It matches. Government and ethics. Now here's where I'm going to go ahead and deselect these. Here's where we decide what kind of government we're going to have. And I think I want militarist. I think we are a militaristic people. So I'm going to put that on there. And what it does, and alright, so we've got this wheel. And we have a total of 3 points. So this is 1 point, and then if you go for like fanatic militarist, it costs 2 points. So we would have 1 left. You can do like 3 of these if you want. You can do like 1 of those and 1 of those, whatever, but you can't pick across. So that across the circle is opposites. So we have militarist, pacifist. We have xenophobe, they don't like aliens. Xenophile, we love aliens, we're really excited to meet them. We have individualist, individual rights and freedoms, versus collectivist, where it is for the greater good. It's kind of like really simplified way, don't get mad at me, but really simplified way is maybe socialism, communism more like, and then like a true democracy, not a republic, but a true democracy. We also have materialist, which is all about science. As we reach for the stars, we must put away childish things, gods, spirits, and other phantasms of the brain. Reality is cruel and unforgiving, yet we must steel ourselves and secure the survival of our race through the unflinching pursuit of science and technology. And spiritualist, ethics divergence -10%, growth time -5, which makes them grow faster. There are those think it behooves us to remember how tiny we are, how pointless our lives are in this vast, uncaring universe. What nonsense. The only truth we can ever know is that of our own existence. The universe, in all its apparent glory, is but a dream we all happen to share. And so these all give you advantages. They do sometimes give you disadvantages. Pacifism is a very iffy type thing. It can be like fanatic pacifism is this can be really hard, but it can also be really good. This if you're going for the I don't want to fight wars really, this is the one you want. But because most of the time I feel like this game just devolves into, well, you're gonna have to kill things. I don't want pacifism, I want militarist. I don't want xenophobe, I want xenophile. If I'm going to pick. Between collectivist and individualist, I would choose individualist, and between materialist and spiritualist, I would choose materialist. So, now I have to decide what I actually want. I spent 2 points. I have 1 more point. I could do like individualist. Where we don't tolerate slavery, we get plus 5% energy credits, a little more money. Policy happiness impact, so people don't get unhappy when I choose policies, and we're more attractive to migrate to. Or I can do materialist, building cost -5%, physics output, or all our sciences get another 5%. I'm tempted to get that. Or I can go like full on, we really love aliens and all that stuff. Or yeah, don't mess with us, we're war. We know how to fight wars. Don't mess with us. I'm tempted to try the one. I'm tempted to try this. I think I haven't ever done it with 3 different choices that were none of which were fanatic, or the level 2. So I'm going to try this. I want to try this out. So we're gonna be xenophiles. We are interested. We are really interested to meet other aliens and learn from them. I mean, our culture has developed science fiction, and it is a big part. Like the idea of meeting aliens is super exciting. It's a little scary too, because sci-fi also shows aliens killing us all, but sci-fi also shows us living together with them in a form of community and stuff too. So, but I'm gonna go with xenophile. Militarist. The only true virtues are courage and discipline, and channeled properly, they can overcome any obstacle. Therein lies true strength, force withheld, a promise made. We are going to defend ourselves. You know, we know how to defend ourselves. We're going to defend ourselves. It kind of goes with this. We are excited to meet the aliens, but we are not afraid to fight for our lives. And we will. I think humans are much like cornered rats. You push us and we will fight. And we will fight hard. And I just to simplify things. And materialists, as we reach for the stars, you know, this, I just like this. I like this. So now we got to choose what type of government. So we've chosen the type of people we have, our ethics, honestly. This is what our ethics are. Now we have to choose our government type. And you can see some of these are highlighted. If we change these around, different ones will be highlighted. But we can go like, this is like the military row. So we have like military republic, holds an election every 10 years. Our army damage goes up, our army upkeep goes down. That's our land armies. Like if we land on a planet to take it or to defend our own, that's our land armies. Military station build cost, and these are like, I mean, that goes down, the damage goes up. Those are like space stations for defense. We got military junta, which has an election every 40 to 50 years. Ship upkeep goes down, ship upgrade cost goes down. So when we get new technologies, we can up it, and our admiral skills are +1, so they're better. And then we have military dictatorship. Holds an election upon ruler death to select a new ruler. So it's a dictatorship. Whoever's in charge is there until they die of old age. Each ruler can build an oversized ship. So basically, you can take one of your ships and go, name this one the CNS ShadeOfDead, and it's going to be 50% larger and 50% more powerful than all the other ships of the same size. And you can build one. If it dies, it dies. That's it. You can never upgrade it from the point when you make it. It just gets built, and that's it. You have that until it dies or whatever. And they will eventually become obsolete. And then when you get a new ruler, once the current ruler dies of old age, then you get a new ruler, and you can do it again, making the largest ship that you can create 50% bigger, and it's just a military thing. All right, we have despotic hegemony. Hegemony. Each ruler can build an elite assault army. So you can build a land army, that is your elite assault army for attacking other planets, or defending too. Research speed goes up, and research station cost goes down. We have science directorate, election every 40 to 50 years. We have +1 research alternatives, and that'll make more sense as we go, but basically every time you pick a new research, it'll show, I think it's 3 that you can pick from normally, and you have to pick one of those 3. You pick it, you research it, and when you get done, 3 different ones are going to show up. You might get the same one again, but 3 different ones are going to show up. This gives us 4 to pick from. So, 1, we have a better chance of the things that we skipped over reappearing again, and also we get a better chance of getting better technologies when it pops up. We can have an extra leader, which is nice, and that's great. And then we have the direct democracy. And direct democracy is literally everyone votes, and every vote matters. It's not a republic like America is. Everybody in America has been told that American government is a democracy. It is not. It is a republic, because we vote to our representatives or whatever, and then the electoral college, and then those individuals that are part of the electoral college, they make the final vote for who they want to be president of our nation. So our individual votes don't matter, the electoral votes matter. That's basically what a republic is. We tell whoever, by voting, we're telling them this is what we want, and then they go okay, and then they vote for, technically they can vote for whatever they wanted, but direct democracy, happiness +5, leadership +15%, so they on their experience, so they get better. faster. We have indirect democracy. This is more like how America is. If you're American, this is more like a republic. Leader skill levels +1, so they can, I think they start at level 2, and they can go, I think, higher than normal. You can normally go to level 5, I think. I don't think you can go above that. And so now they can go to level 6, and it costs less to recruit a leader. Plutocratic oligarchy. Election every 40-50 years. Energy credits go up, minerals go up, mining station build cost goes way down. That's pretty good. That's pretty useful. And despotic empire. You can build an oversized military space station for defense in your different places. Colony influence cost -15%, and planet border extrusion +10. This is kind of for expansion in a way, and defending that expansion, if that makes sense. I'm really tempted to get this. I think I'm going to go with the Science Directorate. This is good. This is good. There's really no negatives. If you look at this, there's no negatives at all on all these governments. They all work. None of them are like, oh, this is bad. No, none of that is. It's all green. It's all good. I'm thinking Science Directorate or military dictatorship or despotic empire. Or plutocratic oligarchy. Mining station build cost is nice, but science is a big deal. Having a really good defense. So here's like our choices. Materialist would be like down here. This would be materialist. A materialistic, really big form of government. As far as the xenophiles go, they don't really have a government per se. Like one of these that really applies to xenophilia. That sounds bad. It just means that we like aliens, xenophiles. We like aliens. It's the opposite of being a xenophobe, where you don't like aliens. So, but militarist is more this one. Maybe this one. I think we want to be able to defend ourselves, but I think we're going to go with Science Directorate. These are good ones too. If you get one of these are pretty sweet. But we're going to go with Science Directorate. And this is a government, is a materialistic form of oligarchy, where a committee of scientists supervises the government apparatus for maximum efficiency. Basically, scientists are in charge of the government. They have a committee. They handle things in a scientific manner. And they make decisions that way. And there's an election every 40 to 50 years that is held to elect whoever it is. So, boom, we're going to do that. I've wasted so much time. We'll be the Commonwealth of Man, and we'll be humans. Our flag, I kind of like this. Camo. Interesting. This is from that mod. There's some new and different things on here. Ooh, I kind of like that. Yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna do that. I'm not gonna even bother looking at the rest of this. Oh no, there we go. That's perfect. I know it's like the United. It's supposed to be like the United Nations symbol in this game, but starting weapons. Oh, there's so many decisions for making a species. Do we start with lasers? Do we start with projectile weapons or missiles? The missiles, you start with nuclear warhead missiles. They have really good range, but they are vulnerable to interception by point defense systems. Meaning, these are really good in the early game. In the later game, they're not as good. And the reason being is people start building ships with point defense systems, which means that they will shoot down your missiles before they get to them. So while you have the range on them, your missiles aren't going to get there anyway because they're going to shoot them down. So it's good in the early game, I think, but it's not so good later on. Mass drivers are short range, which doesn't make sense to me, honestly. In space, If I throw a rock in space, that rock is going to keep going forever. I don't know why there's a range on this. This makes sense to have a range because it has fuel. It's going to get to a point and it's going to stop. These are like guided missiles, so they should be more accurate but have less range. These should be maybe less accurate at that distance, but the range should be infinite because it would be. Whatever. Same with lasers, they should be infinite. But these are all balanced. I'm not going to get into that, even though I already did. But these are short range. They fire basically bullets at a limited range. It's high rate of fire. They chew through shields easier than anything else. These have long range. These chew through shields. I can't talk. I need a drink. Hold on. I've been recording forever here. This is a long episode. I didn't think it was going to take this long to create, but I wanted to talk about these and kind of explain my choices. And then energy weapons. Directed energy weapons emit focused laser beams, which go on forever in space, basically. They're effective at medium to close range. Why aren't they at long range? I guess maybe they're dissipating and becoming less coherent. Largely ignoring armor. Cuts through armor at medium to close range. Cuts through shields at close range. And long range ignores shields, basically. The missiles, for the most part, well, I don't know if all of them do or just some of them. But they can ignore shields, but they can be shot down. In the end game, you kind of want to be able to have an access to all of these, but I think we're going to go lasers. Even though this probably makes more sense for humans. We're all about mass drivers, which are guns. A gun is a mass driver. Only difference is this is like a railgun type thing. Electromagnetic catapults instead of gunpowder. Alright, we'll go mass drivers because that's very human. That's what we use. Now this is important. This is probably one of the most important things that we've done. Besides our government and traits and our weapons, this is probably the most important choice that you can make. And this is how your species has broken into FTL, faster than light travel. There's warp travel. They say this is for new players. Yeah, it probably is. Maybe. I don't know. I don't like warp travel that much, but what it is basically your ship is on around a star. There's a certain range that you can warp out to. Your engines can only go so far. And so anything that was within that range you can jump to, without any sort of restriction other than your range. But it is slow and is kind of annoying that way. It can be very slow to move your ships around. It's very difficult to respond when you're being attacked sometimes, especially if your empire gets large, but you want it to. Warp travel is not my choice. That's not the one I want. But that's what warp travel is. Hyperspace. This is like, think Mass Effect. Okay, sort of. Like you can go. There are hyperspace lanes that we have discovered, and we can travel along those hyperspace lanes to different stars. But we're limited by the hyperspace lanes. We can't deviate from those courses. So all the stars are connected together in some kind of spiderwebby type pattern, but can become very problematic if I need to go to this part, and in between me and where I want to go, there is a species that lives there that isn't going to let me through. Now how do I get there? I got to go all the way around. to get there, you know, it can be problematic, but it is fast. It is a fast travel between different star systems. You kind of move the fastest, but you are limited to the hyperlane network, which can be problematic. I like this one. But there's also wormhole travel. I like this one too. And this basically, we have learned how to create wormholes. We can build these stations that will rip open a wormhole and send our ship somewhere or retrieve them from somewhere. The way this works is you put it down and, you know, on a star. You have it in this system, and then there's a range, a fairly big one, kind of like what warp travel has. Warp travel would have like a little range here. Wormhole travel has a big range, and I can jump from my star to any other star inside that range to explore it. So jump great distances, but you are limited where you have to have these wormhole generators. And this means there is a little bit of a cooldown and stuff after you jump. Same with this one. This one is less of a cooldown and it's faster. But the way this works is, say my ships are here. This is our home star. My ships are here, and we get attacked here. Now, if I was in hyperspace, I'd have to go jump here, jump there, jump here, and then get where I need to go, right? Wormhole, I would just jump back to where the generator is and then jump directly to where I need to go. It's a 2 jump. Anything that's in range of that wormhole generator, it's 2 jumps. Jump home, jump out. Or if you're already here, it's 1 jump. You're just boom, you're there. So, but you have to have these wormhole generators. You have to spread and add these wormhole generators. My ships can just explore the entire galaxy until, you know, they get blocked or destroyed or whatever. But they can explore the entire galaxy, no problem. This, we have to kind of expand slowly, but it is good for defense. This is not so great for defense, but it's better than this. Well, these both have trade-offs. This is slow to get to where you need to go. This is fast to get to where you need to go, but it may be a longer path to get there. You know, these 2 stars may not be connected. You may have to come down here, go across here, come up to this one to get to that star. And I think that makes it more interesting, and so I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do hyperspace travel. I think this makes the map more interesting. Like this one, I feel like it makes it less interesting and fun. I think these 2 make it more interesting. So we're going to go with hyperspace travel. It's very important. And then we can choose what we want our ships to look like. You know, you can have insect ships, avian ships, molluscoid ships, mammalians, reptilians, fungoids, plantoids. We're going to go with mammalian. I'm not really sure why these are larger. We'll see. Hopefully that's not a problem. But that's what we're going to do. Next, I'm going to go ahead and save this. Boom. Alright. And done. We are industrious. We are sedentary. We don't like to be uprooted and moved very much. We'll sign up for a colony ship, but if you tell us to go somewhere, we're kind of like, you pay me more money and I will. And we're very big about science. Very big, because we're also materialists. So we have like a plus 15% to our science. We are not afraid to defend ourselves, and we will do so. And we like aliens. And we hope aliens like us. So, now this is the whole story for the normal Commonwealth of Man, where they sent people away from Earth and out into space and yada yada yada. We're not going to get involved in that, but we're going to be done. Now we have to choose our galaxy. I think we'll go 800. I think we're going to do elliptical. So elliptical is basically a circle. You know, it's just a circle with a bunch of stars in it. Spiral, it has 2 arms that kind of spiral out, and they don't really touch much, but They do in a few spots. There'll be a few places where you can cross between the arms, but for the most part the arms are separate from each other. There's only a few places where they will connect. Spiral forearms is the same thing, except you have 4 arms that come off, and again, they only connect at some places. Ring it's just a circle. It's just a ring. It's a circle with a hole cut in the middle. So you have like the center of the galaxy, then no stars on the, around it, close to it, and then a ring of stars. I don't like ring much. I suppose it could be great, but I don't like it much. We're going to go with elliptical. We're going to have a Milky Way type galaxy. I know there are arms and whatever. We're doing this one. AI empires, ugh. 17 is a lot. We'll go for 12. We'll leave advanced AI starts. Alright, so this is the number of AI empires that will populate. I guess we can go back up to 17. Let's just leave it at 17. We'll do that. Advanced AI starts. How many of the regular AI empires start with an initial advantage over me in resources, technology, and population? They do not gain any additional bonuses besides a stronger starting position. And it does not affect fallen empires, which we'll get to here in the next thing. That's a lot. 5 of them. They're going to be much more powerful than me, especially in the beginning and potentially the entire game, depending on situations. We're going to go ahead and leave it. Like I said, I'm willing to lose this. So, fallen empires. Now, these are basically species that before we ever, like, maybe even existed as our species, before we were living in caves and stuff, these species had spread across the galaxy, and something had happened, and they've kind of collapsed, and they have become either, bitter, or something bad has happened, and they're slowly dying out, and there's not that many left, or whatever it is. They've fallen from being the supreme empire of the galaxy at some point. And they may have all existed at the same time, whatever. But the point is, they've reached a point where they have pulled back into a little area of the galaxy, and they're like, this is ours, and we live here, and you're pretty insignificant. They are going to be overwhelmingly powerful versus us, if they so choose to be. And they will sometimes, well, I feel like, well, not often, but they will make demands of you. We want to have a sanctuary for your people. Give us, one of your populations, whatever, there's a billion people. We'll put it on one of our planets in a special habitat specifically for your species, and we're going to keep them there. Or make us mad. Those are your choices. If you're nice to them and you do it, you're going to have some fallout, some problems. But having done that, they often bless you with some sort of help. Maybe they open their borders and let you actually pass through their systems. Maybe they, give you some sort of a gift, a technology, whatever. They're going to do something for you. I like having all 4 of them. I've explained too much. I'm talking about them too much. Habitable worlds, we're going to leave it at 100% of normal. This doesn't mean that all worlds are habitable. It means that the percentage chance that a world is habitable is going to stay at 100%. We can crank it way up here, and then we find a whole bunch of them. We're going to leave it at 100. Yeah, aggressiveness, we'll leave that at normal. Difficulty, normal. Allow FTL method. I can restrict what other species are allowed to discover, as in maybe there is no such thing as wormholes, or there is no such thing as warp, or whatever it is. I'm going to allow any, so it makes things interesting especially when you have to have a war with another species that has a different FTL method than you do. So we're going to leave that. Clustered starts. Whether empires should spawn in clusters or just randomly spread out. I'm going to leave clustered starts on. I kind of like that. It leaves these... You start and you'll have a few races near you, and then there'll be like some empty space, and then another cluster, and then some empty space, and another one, you know, around the galaxy. If you don't do this, then everybody spreads out, and then when you start running into other species, like, there's no empty space anywhere. There's no empty places where you can explore. It all ends up getting taken up very quickly, and everybody kind of stays the same strength-ish. I don't know. I like cluster starts. At first I didn't, but now I totally do. Advanced neighbors. Are these people with the advanced AI starts allowed to spawn near me? I'm going to say yes. Endgame crises. Spoiler. Yes, please. Iron Man, I'm going to leave that off. And we're going to hit play. And then we're going to be welcome to our solar system. More than a century has passed since the Great Arch... blah, blah, blah. We're not going to read all that because I didn't edit it, and it's going to say the stuff for the Commonwealth of Man who live in Deneb, not in Sol. And so, we went into space. Good on us. And here we are. And we're in our solar system. So, I'm going to stop here because I've been talking for an hour, and this was only supposed to be the setup. So now we are here, and I'm going to end it, and we are going to start playing the game from there. And I'll see you guys all then. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys all soon. Bye. Oh, wow. Pretty, huh? You can see the subspace lanes. You see how they're all spread out, kind of spiderwebby? Yeah. Bye, guys.